Okay, so this week has been a very, very good week with my emotional healing, my trauma. So I did the ketamine. I did my dose 7 on Friday, and I was really emotional. I've been crying a lot almost every day since I started this journey, but I was crying a little bit more and like feeling really down. And then that week I was. And then Friday I did the ketamine session, and it was literally it was very, very informative. So whenever I release trauma, I'll have to think about what I'm feeling, or if I'm not, I'll know that I have tears under my in my chest that need to come up. But it's a process. And then when I start crying, it's pretty quick. It's 3 to 5 minutes, and then I released it, and then I feel really good afterwards. A couple weeks ago, I started releasing a lot of trauma like that at the beach, but whenever I was releasing trauma too fast, well, not too fast, but too much trauma, I would have kickback. So a couple of days later, for the next couple of days, I'd be so depressed. And so this week I was just I really want to have a really good week with my healing. And so oh my gosh. So in my ketamine session, I feel pain come from my gut. And so it's it's trauma from sadness, everything I was going through. I feel it come from my gut. And I'm starting to cry. I'm pushing my gut, and then I open my mouth, and it comes all the way up, and I open my mouth, and I'm about to cry. And as soon as I open my mouth, 1, 2, 3 seconds, and then I close it. I just release it, just by not even physically crying, but just doing the process of bringing it up. It's the weirdest thing. But I did that. I swear I did that 17 times in my 35-minute session on the ketamine. 17 times. And then after my ketamine, so I did ketamine, and then I went to work. Usually you're supposed to I take the whole day off, but I had to make up hours at work, so I did it before I went to work. So I go to work. On my way to work, I think I cried once, and then while I was at my desk, I cried a couple times, and then on my way home, I am bawling in my car. I didn't have food in my fridge, so I went to McDonald's, and then in the drive-thru McDonald's, I'm crying, hard crying, and I'm every time I cry, I'm happy because I'm releasing something. So I'm crying, and I'm it's okay. Then I go home, and I do the same process I did in my ketamine, where I'm I feel it in my gut, and then I go through the process of crying, and then after 3 seconds, no tears come out. But the process, I guess, now is just releasing the trauma. So after 3 seconds, I was fine. But I did that another 15 to 19 times. I swear, I'm not even joking. I kept doing it. And I was just usually I'll stop, because I know that I'll get overwhelmed, and the next couple of days I'll be so depressed. But I was no, I can do this. If my body's going to keep pushing this pain through, I'm going to, I can do it. So I just laid there, and I just kept doing it for hours, just releasing all of this trauma from my life. And so I did that all Saturday. No. Yeah, so Friday. Wait, what was yesterday? Oh my gosh, that was this week. Okay, so Saturday, I did that all Saturday. And then I had, I was really depressed Saturday. And then, I'm scrolling. I can't stop scrolling because I don't want to face the sadness in my body. So I will not put the phone down. I'm I can't do it. Finally, at the end of the night, when it's time for go to bed, it all hits me because I have nothing to distract myself. And I feel misery, sadness, depression. I feel all of it. And it's like a lot of emotions. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm just letting myself feel it. And I'm just like trying to think, why am I feeling this all of a sudden? And as soon as I'm processing what I'm feeling, I start getting shivers, but not cold shivers. I start getting shivers from like, it's like ripples. It kind of feels like ripples, but it's like, it'll start in my chest and then it'll go up to like all the way down to my legs. And I just keep getting ripples. Every time I'm thinking, I'm just like in my mind thinking like, okay, I feel misery. Why do I feel misery? Then I'm feeling like all these times I feel miserable at hope. And like, I just get like shivers every time I do that. Like with misery, depression, I'm thinking about all these memories and I'm just getting shivers. And it's like, that happened like 20, 25 times. And I learned that your body, like, so whenever you have like trapped emotions, like animals, like if they get like scared, they'll shake the stress off of them. So my body was pretty much, I cried as much as I could in that like, time period. So my body started releasing a different way. So I started having tremors. And so like, I have all these tremors, then I go to sleep, I'm like exhausted. I wake up in the morning. I was supposed to go to work earlier to do like 12 hours a day because I'm doing 12 hours for November, December, but I was like, no, because I feel depressed again. So I lay in bed and I start thinking and I'm having all these tremors again. Every time I think of something, I'm just tremor. And then after 30 minutes, I feel happy and I'm ready to get out of bed. And I learned that my body couldn't release through tears because I've like used all my tears for like that day, or like maybe because my body knew I was being exhausted. So it just released it through tremors. So I released everything that I was feeling last night till this morning in just tremors. And then, so then I went to work. I was so happy. Then on my way to work, I realized that, okay, so with trauma, you have one person in the family that is the, that inherits the generational trauma. And it's not like the chosen one. It's just like I am super hypersensitive. So I saw my mom growing up, and like a lot of stuff I do now. I was only with her for 5 years, but what I watched her, and everything I've seen of her do, I do now, because I was so hypersensitive that I absorbed everything. So my mom was so miserable, so depressed, so anxious. She had bad anxiety, which I didn't know until now. She had all these issues, but that stemmed from her mom and then from her mom. And so I inherited all her trauma and my generational trauma from like previous parents. And my siblings, they are not as hypersensitive as I am. So, they could, deal with trauma a little bit different, like avoid it, or maybe like, maybe it hurts, but it doesn't penetrate as deep because I'm so hypersensitive, like I absorbed everything. I absorbed all her trauma. So when I was a child, at 6, I was like I don't know. I was miserable, sad, depressed because I, as a child, absorbed her pain and her generation's moms, all of those pain, and it was too much for me. And so I think it's like 12. So everyone's system, like, after you hit so much trauma, like it shuts down. And usually it's a lot when you're a lot older in life, but because I'm so hypersensitive and I absorb everything, for me, it happened at 12. So 12, I had an emotional shutdown, arrested development. I couldn't like move from there because my system was shut down. I had no more room to absorb stuff, especially when everything I absorbed was sadness, depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. So, so I absorbed everything of my mom's. I absorbed the generational trauma in my family because my nervous system is highly, highly sensitive. And so today, I'm realizing, so my sister, she's got some mental health problems too. But she did about like 6-7 months of going to therapy, and she like healed all her trauma and she's good. My brother, he did some therapy, he healed his trauma and good. And it wasn't like somatic healing like I'm doing. It was just like they talked to therapists, they cleared, the ducts. But for me, I haven't talked to therapists, but for me, it's been 1.5 years. And I've been releasing trauma like through somatic healing. So I'll cry it out, I'll shiver it out, I'll journal it out. I have to process it out. I can't, talk therapy doesn't work on me because I feel stuff a lot deeper. And in order to get it to heal, to get it all out, I have to release it like out of my body, because the way I stored it, because I'm so hypersensitive, is a different way than my siblings did. So that's why I inherited the family drama. So I've been doing somatic healing. I cry a lot. I journal. I do all this stuff like body, like stretching. Like I feel relief through a lot of this stuff. I take L-theanine. And like I heal through releasing it from my body, like just like an animal shaking the stress off of them. I have to release it that way. I can't just like talk through it. Like it's gotta leave my body. And so today when I was driving to work, I realized that me inheriting the generation trauma was me inheriting my mom. I have to release my mom from me. Because everything, my mom was at the, when I was born, she was at like pretty much a shutdown. Like she was like she just sat there, stared at the walls. Like she was dissociated. Like she was pretty much shut down. And then after we left, I think 3 to 4 or 5 years later, she went completely insane. And I also went through psychosis where I was like had that also, but that's because of environmental stress. So if I like live in a bad area like the hood, which I know people think is bougie, but I have stress from that, from the environment. If it's not safe, like I'll be stressed and I can't calm myself down, and for weeks I'll stay in this like stressful state, and then I'll like go insane. So I went through psychosis because I was living in the hood, because I know it's bougie, but because I'm like hypersensitive to area and I have a lot of environmental stress on my body. But so I inherited all my mom's stuff. I am the one that's going to heal all of my generational trauma through me, and so I literally have to release my mom from me, release her trauma from me. I hold her pain, I hold her sadness, I hold her oppression, her misery, I hold all of that, and I shouldn't be the one responsible to hold it, so I have to release her. And so that made sense in my mind today for the first time, and I am in my desk and I'm crying, bawling, like from my gut, like hard cries, like, and it just, and which makes me know that I really hit home. Like I really have to heal by releasing my mom. And that was one thing. And then I was crying because of trauma. And then I was crying because I hate my life. Like I hate living in survival mode. I don't want to be in survival mode anymore. I want to be free. I want to be calm, like peace. I want like to live, actually live. And I've been, for the first time, like I've been staying, so I went out with Freeze, and I was like going into being present first, but for like little amount of times, but I still wasn't safe. Like I didn't feel full safety. And so I did my session, I felt full safety for the first time laying in bed, and then I was crying because it's my first time my soul has touched full safety for like a limited amount of time. So I'm crying, and then I feel it in my car on the way to work, so I'm crying. I feel it at my desk, I'm crying. And just a lot of like trauma that I have to, like, I've been releasing, and I have so much more that I have to release. I think I still have 6 more doses of the ketamine, but yeah, I have 6 more. So I'm very happy with that. And I thought I was gonna stop, but I think I'm gonna go all the way through. Most people, it's so crazy. Most people on their like 3rd dose, like they're healed, and like I already took 7, and I still like not there yet. But yeah, I'm really happy. I've been crying and healing and releasing stuff, and I'm just like, I want to cry more, and heal as much as I can, because I want to get all this out of my, like, stress, all this like out of my way. Also, I'm always in the sympathetic nervous system, and for the past 3 days I've been in the parasympathetic nervous system, the majority of the day, which is very, very strange for me. And it's mostly due to, well, ketamine, but so ashwagandha at first, this helps with my stress. So before I was like stressed, I would be in my bed, I would do like my breath work, and I do my 2-minute hold, and I can feel myself, like my body canceling out the stress with my breath hold. It would like eat up my stress, to give me energy to hold it up longer. So the longer I hold, the more stress was absorbed. So I'd be stress free, and then I'd be laying in bed, and I could feel like my body be like producing more cortisone. Like I'd be like, and then like after 5 minutes, I would start like tense in my bed. I'd be so tense, and I'm like, what the heck? So I do it again, and then after 5 minutes, I was tense, and like my body was actively producing cortisone, and I was laying in bed. So I started taking ashwagandha, helps with my stress, and then I still can't pronounce it, but L-theanine. This has been a game changer. This right here keeps me in the parasympathetic. I take 800 milligrams a day, but this keeps me in the parasympathetic all day. And because I am taking ketamine, I'm resetting neural pathways. I reset my neural pathways, and my body is mostly in a stress-free and a parasympathetic state. So then that becomes like that pattern. Like it becomes like my body starts mimicking it, and the more I am it, the more it mimics, and then that's my original state. So that's what's been going on with this. This and this has been game changers. And this helps with anxiety. Like I still have like not as bad anxiety, but it was like an 8, and now it's like a 4. Before, like when I made eye contact, I'd feel like scared in my gut, like you're like scared about like to get in trouble in your gut. I'd feel that making eye contact or talking to people. And so I talk to people now, but I still have like hypervigilance. So I'm looking at you, look at me. And so if you make any face expressions, I use the face expressions to me talking too much is about to put me in the sympathetic, because I'm like not breathing deep. But I use that to confirm like my fears in my head, like I look mean, I make them uncomfortable. So it's been like a game changer, and I'm so thankful for these two. And I'm like healing, and like I'm so excited. Every time I get every time I take this, I can feel it immediately. I'm so sensitive, I can feel stuff like that. But I like want to cry. I've been crying every night that it kicks in, because it puts me in like that state. and it's like a good state. Okay, so my ketamine session, healing trauma, releasing trauma, crying, but also my personality is coming in. I still am so detached. Like, it's so crazy I haven't been in jail or anything, because I still don't feel remorse. I still don't feel regret, guilt. I don't feel that. If I get in trouble, I'm like, dang it, maybe I should, like, look now. But I still don't feel that. And it's just crazy. I was thinking about that. Like, if I wasn't raised, like, the way I was, I would be, like, done, because I don't feel anything yet. I'm still, like, praying that my feelings do come in. But the more I heal, the more, like, my personality comes in, you know, what I should have been without all this trauma. So I still don't know who I am. I'm like in this weird in-between spot where I grew up white, so I have all my white characteristics and stuff like that. And I like stick up for white people, and I'm just like, I'm white, but then I realize that, like, I'll never be white. Doesn't matter, like, if I identify, like, I'll never be white. And so, like, I'm like dropping all of that, which is really scary, just because I'm not black either. Like, culturally, I don't fit in with black people. Then who am I? You know? But I feel like that, my personality and all that, will come in a little bit more. Okay, and then what else? Yeah, so I'm praying about my personality, and also I'm praying for surgery. I like the way I look. I don't want to change my face. I just want to change, like, how, like, the hardness on my face, which is like there not because which is like was there because of how I grew up, and how, you know, when your face mirrors your inside. So if you grow up like I am and you feel nothing, you're depressed, like you hate the world, you're miserable, like, your face is going to show that. So my face shows that. So I do want to get, like, things. I have 3 things I want to do that will make me look more feminine, but also look more approachable. But I do love the way I look. But I do want to, like tweak it, just so I can not, like, people look at me and be like, oh wow, she's got a mean face, you know. So I am praying about that, and then I am praying for my app, and yeah, that's what's been going on. And this is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is day 3, and I've already had that much release since my 7th dose of ketamine, and yeah, and I can't wait to release more and more until I have nothing left, which is going to be a while, because my whole life was just sadness, because I shut down at 12. So everything since 12 that I never got to process just got stuck and weighed me down and stressed me down. So I have to process 12 to 26. So it's going to take me a while, but I've been praying that the Lord will, like, 3x it, because, you know, most people, you know, they don't have L-theanine that they're putting in them, parasympathetic or ashwagandha, and they don't have ketamine. So I have 3 things. So I'm asking the Lord that He'll 3x my process. Also, I really am, like, super attentive to my mental health. So I really hope that the Lord helps me 3x my healing. I wouldn't mind if I, like, heal for, like, my 27s, that, you know, I just turned 27, but, like, my whole 27 year, like, if I'm, like, just healing, like, at the same rate I am now, just crying, I wouldn't mind that at all. Because I don't mind it. But that has been going on, and yeah, I will probably do another one on a couple days after my 8th dose. So I dose every Friday. 200 milligrams, and I am halfway through. Well, halfway through, pretty much. This is I have 6 more doses left. So November 15th 14th will be my last week to dose, and I feel like I'll have so much change by then. Also, like, I wanted to do plastic surgery, and my brother's like, but God, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And I kind of felt like a little bit like, yeah, maybe that is bad. But it's like, I feel like the way I'm going about it, like, I like the way I look. I just don't want to look. I don't want the hardness and the RBF, which was there because of me. I want that gone. So I don't want to change what God made. I want to change what I did to myself. So I feel like when I think of it that way, I feel a little bit better about it, because I am starting to love myself, and I don't want to become a different person, but I do want to be approachable, and I don't want people to think I have a mean face. So it's a little workaround, but anyways, yeah, I feel happy today. I probably will end up waking up tomorrow depressed, but you know, I learned how to process it out, so I'm happy about that. And